Hello, sister leaders. I am so excited. Look, we have another powerhouse sister leader who is going to grace the virtual stage on today. And you know how we do. We do not do a whole lot of introductions because all of that stuff is posted with the link. And so we want to certainly give a big sister leader welcome to Rozlan Luck. She is your sister leader guest expert for this evening. Rosalind, you have the stage.
Well, good evening, my fellow sister leaders and all others that are currently joining us. Listen, it is indeed a pleasure to be here. I'm so grateful to Dr. Prudence for giving me this opportunity. I don't take it lightly, and it's not something that she has to do. So I appreciate you, ma'am, and I thank you so much for your humility and helping others to gain access to the world. So I am Rozlan Luck, as we have decided on this platform, and I am a coach. I'm an author, newly author, and I am a domestic violence survivor. So what do? I concentrate on female leaders, basically, that are just trying to figure their way out or figure their way through. And that doesn't mean that you have to be an entry level leader to do that. Some of the high paid, high performance, high platform women are struggling with many demons. And they are some of the ones that don't think that they need that help because they're thriving, I mean, and then they're successful. So let me start with saying this. You didn't come this far to shrink. You came to take your seat. I'm not just talking about a title or a platform or a position. I'm talking about a seat in your own personal power, the place where your healing, your wisdom, and your divine identity aligns. So let's be real. We've been taught to earn our seat. We got to struggle for everything. We got to work extra hard. We got to do all of the things. And we got to do it sometimes through exhaustion to prove that we are worthy through people pleasing, to carry our trauma like a trophy and call it strength. That means that we keep it buried so deep that even we don't know what it is sometimes. Today, I want to talk about breaking cycles. I want to talk about reclaiming the power seat. And what do I mean by that? I teach a course that focuses on 5 key areas. And those key areas are identified by the crown, CROWN: confidence, resilience, optimism, willpower, and non negotiables. Now, through the sake of time, we may not get to or through all of those on this evening, but I want to be clear because we just don't wear the crown. We are the crown. Remember, confidence, resilience, optimism, willpower, and non negotiables. We are the crown. So when we talk about confidence as it relates to this, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. I have been in logistics for over 35 years, 35 years of my life, to a company or companies that they said they value you, but that value is showed through a paycheck. So if I were to leave or something were to happen to me, my position would be filled in a matter of seconds. So it has been a long time coming, but I no longer work in that field. It wasn't my idea. I was released. I was released from my job without warning, so a little bit unprepared because I was set for the long haul. But I started to question myself. I started to wonder if I lost some pieces out of my crown. So I started to really dig deep into this just to figure out which one had I lost, which piece was missing. Remember, I'm not just wearing the crown, even though at the time it was a little crooked. I was the crown. I am the crown. So I checked confidence. And while I was checking in confidence, The courage to take up space. That's the thing that came to me. The courage to be seen, the courage to step forward, the courage to take ownership of what I wanted, not what I had, but what I wanted. I didn't have that. I was comfortable. I was set in, I was dug in, and uh, I was where I thought I wanted to be. 35 years, I thought I was happy until I started self-assessing. And then I thought, confidence isn't about volume. It isn't about how many years I shared. It isn't about how much time I spent. It isn't about how much of my children's time I gave to the company. It wasn't about how much of my husband's time I gave to the company. It was about ownership. I chose to do those things. I chose to give more. I chose those things. But did I choose them because I was confident in what I did? Or did I choose them because I wasn't confident enough to feel like I could stand without that company? You see, confidence was never something that I lacked, or so I thought. It was something that I had lost along the way. I lost it every time I said yes out of fear. Uh, I lost it every time I quieted my voice to make others comfortable. I lost that confidence every time I traded truth for tolerance. What do I mean by that? In the power seat, you sometimes have to go along to get along, as my mom used to say. And that's just that you got to do sometimes what the majority wants to do, regardless of what you feel like or what that feels like to you. That's the way you stay in the power seat again, or so I thought. Every time I traded that truth, I lost a little bit more of me, and I chipped away at it. But then I remembered, I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to take up space. And what does that mean? I can't be authentically me if I'm just simply trying to fit in. I'm trying to fit into a box that wasn't built for me. So again, remember, your confidence is being chipped away by the many things that you give of yourself, the many times that you give of yourself, giving, 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 and not receiving back. The power seat insight, as it relates to confidence, isn't loud. It's not something that you have to wear a shirt to think about. Confidence is an anchor. The power seat is an anchor. It's where you know who you are, and in some cases, whose you are, and you know what you're worth. Now, that doesn't mean monetarily. It doesn't have to mean monetarily. It can sometimes mean just the fact that my time is worth more than what I'm getting or than what I'm being paid for. So the power seat insight, confidence isn't loud, it's anchored. When you reclaim your voice, you stop apologizing for your presence and you start showing up in power. What do you mean by that? When we show up in power, that doesn't mean that I have to apologize. Now, if I'm wrong, of course I'm going to apologize. But when I say apologize, I don't mean that I don't have to cower to sit at the table. I am the table. I bring the table. When I show up in my excellence, I show up as the person that I authentically am. That is when you stand in confidence. It does not matter your title. You can be the CEO of the company, you can be the janitor. It still means that you show up in confidence. You show up as your authentic self in everything that you do. An affirmation that I would say goes along with confidence is I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be heard. I deserve to be respected without shrinking. Now, does that mean that I have to be loud and boisterous and all over the place? Absolutely not. That means that we all have a voice and all of us have an opportunity to use that voice, and that voice deserves to be heard. It just does. That's just the law of the land. We are all equal. That doesn't mean we're treated equal, and that doesn't mean you're always going to be treated equal, but we are created equally. So that is confidence. If I wanted to talk a little bit about resilience, I would say we as high-powered women leading from the power seat need to heal from, need to lead from healed places. When I say that, I'll tell you that I am a survivor of domestic violence. I did not seek counseling immediately. I suppressed. I pushed all of that down and I kept it moving because I had two small children that I had to raise. I had to bounce back quickly. So that didn't mean anything. I survived it. I got through it. Let's move forward. But as I was moving, I felt like that was resilience. I bounced back quickly. I got over it. I got through it. But did I? I wasn't leading from a healed or a whole place. I wasn't leading from a healthy place. I was leading from brokenness. I was leading from being pushed into a corner, fit into a box, made to be quiet. I was leading from a place of brokenness and I was bleeding all over everybody. So when we talk about resilience, we talk about it like it's bouncing back from something. But real resilience and what happens is when you are truly resilient, you rise up healed, not pretending or not packing away that hurt and pretending as if it didn't happen. You rise up healed, you rise up whole, but choosing not to lead by choosing not to lead from a wounded place, choosing not to bleed over those that you serve. Who do I serve? You serve those who lead, who you lead. You serve those who follow you. You serve those who stand side by side with you. You serve those who are your equals. So how can I bleed on somebody that's my equal? Attitude. Do I listen to you? Do I allow you to use your voice? Now, when we talk about strength or when we think about strength, we think some of us that we have to be this hard person that, walks through life and we get it done and we speak it and it is so. But you don't have to be that way. We don't have to lead like that. We are women. We were built soft. We were built soft in touch. I'm not talking about our heart for what we do. I'm talking about our softness. We don't have to be a hard warrior or look like one in order to be a powerful leader. To sit in a power seat, you have to know who you are. Therefore, you don't have to pretend. Therefore, you don't have to perform. You don't have to entertain. And I had to learn that I don't have to wear my pain like armor. I don't have to just be strong. Some of us have gotten so good at surviving, we've forgotten what it means to feel safe, to relax. We lead from a place of, I got to get it done. I got to hold my own. I got to hold the reins so that no one takes it from us. We've been surviving so long, we've forgotten how to rest in safety. Resilience is not endurance. It's how much you can endure the pain and the misleading on jobs and the mistreatment that we receive in some cases. It's about integration. You lead with more clarity when you stop hiding behind your limp, when you fix it. How many of us have known, I'm old school, so I know back in the day, we grew up on a farm. You fall out of a tree, you hurt your leg, you twist your ankle, you better walk it out unless you see something is super wrong or my mom thought that there was blood coming or if there was a visible break. Otherwise, you better walk it out. Walk it out until you can't. So you lead with more clarity when you stop hiding behind that limp. So let's get the limps fixed. Let's get what we need to get fixed. Let's take care of the things that we need to take care of. Let's be strong and truly resilient from a healed and a whole place. And how many of us know that being healed and being whole is two different things? Because I can be healed, meaning that I no longer have triggers for that, but I'm not whole because there are still things that get in the way of what I want. because I veer away from them, because it doesn't trigger me because I don't allow myself to go close to it. I've built walls up so high and so fortified that nobody can get in. So of course nobody can hurt me. I want to give you something to reflect on. Where are you still leading from the version of you that was trying to just survive? Where in your life are there still some broken pieces that you kind of sweep under the rug and you still just try to survive it? Those moments that trigger you, but you don't let anybody see it because you've recognized those triggers. So you continue to move forward as if it never happened. Think about that. And if you by chance journal that out on this evening. Really, really think about it. Really turn that mirror onto yourself and think through what that looks like for you. I no longer lead from my limp. I lead from my liberation. I remember every single thing that happened to me. I remember how it happened. I remember the day it happened. I remember the things that my children witnessed. And I dealt with them. And now I lead from a healed and a whole place, which gives me the power to sit in the power seat. So let's talk just a little bit about optimism, and then we're going to try to hit the W and the N before time has gotten away. And then I just want to finish it up with a few more affirmations for you. When we talk about optimism, let's refuse to lead bitter. I know what happened to me. I know how I lost my job. I know why I lost my job. I just wasn't prepared to lose my job at that time because those things that they said happened did not happen. Not the way they said it did. But optimism is not denial. I wasn't in denial. I was disciplined. I took it like a woman. I gathered my things and I left. I didn't argue. I didn't curse. I didn't raise anything other than my bag, put it on my shoulder, and with my head held high, I said bye to the people I wanted to say bye to, and I walked out that front door on my own. So optimism is discipline. It's the ability to believe for better, even when your current situation is breaking your heart. Remember, I said 35 years I served in this industry. I thought it was my heart. I thought I was doing the will of God for my life. I touched people there. I taught people through a lot of hardships there. I helped people. So I thought I was in the right place. Turns out I was doing the right things, but not maybe in the right places. Some of us have gotten so good at managing disappointment, we stopped dreaming. Here with you, talking this through, talking about the crown, talking about the things that held me back, and helping maybe some of you move forward is my dream. It's what I desire to do, and it is my God-given gift to help people, to help someone else along the way. But bitterness is not a leadership strategy. Bitterness will hold you back. It'll press you down, and it'll allow you to be that same monster that you tried to get away from to someone else. Hope is a leadership strategy. Hope helps you build leaders up. It helps you to keep people motivated to move forward, to want to do the work, to want to maybe not in a job, maybe in life, period. Hope is the key to all of that. It's the best strategy you can ever have for anything that you try to accomplish. Not, I think I can. I know I can do this. I just need the right tools. The power seat insight as it relates to optimism is your outlook shapes your outcomes. My mindset had to change. I was good at what I did. I was thriving. I had a nice home. I had everything I could ever ask for. A loving husband. My family's doing well. And then, bam. I could have been in a corner, curled up in a ball, because I did not know what I was going to do next. But I got home, I was angry. I talked to my husband, I shed a few tears, and then I said, okay, let's go. What's next? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And here I sit today. I started a business in the midst of all of that. When you reclaim your voice, you also reclaim your vision. And that's what I did. I had the vision now to look forward and to see that there was something better. There was something more, there was something bigger, and it was my turn to get it. I expect good things, not because life is perfect, but because I choose to lead with faith. I'm a Jesus girl, and I believe I can do all things because he strengthens me for such a time as this. So I don't know that we will get to W and N, so we're going to run right through willpower. That's big for me. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, right? So when we talk about boundaries, some people try to make you feel a little type of way because you are saying no to them. No is a complete sentence. Willpower and non-negotiables go hand in hand for me. Boundaries are not barriers, they're blueprints. They're blueprints for how I'm going to allow you. How am I going to allow you to have more of my time than I have? Boundaries are not barriers. They're blueprints for how you honor your purpose, how you honor your time, how you honor your being. I used to say, just to keep the peace, I'll do it. I used to say, well, I have a little bit of time. Let me help you. Until I realized that my peace is not up for negotiation. The power seat in sight for willpower says, no is not rejection. It's redirection. It keeps your energy aligned with your assignment. If I can't do a thing, and furthermore, if I don't want to do a thing, but I say yes to you, I'm not going to give you 100%. I'm going to give you 100% of what I do, but I'm not going to put my heart in. How many of you ever heard love? If you cook with love, the food tastes better. I know you've heard that because it's a very valid saying. I've tasted it, but it's also in your everyday, what I give to you on a daily basis. If I do it in love, or if I do it in the right spirit, if I do it with the right heart posture, it comes across much better if I don't feel like it was something that I had to do. So saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. Because maybe you can do it, but you can't do it right now. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to have to say no if you need that right now, especially right now. But I may have some time later in the week. Emphasize may, because you may not. I can't commit to that right now, but I appreciate you thinking of me to help you with this project. It's simple as that. Practice that. Let's say it again. I can't commit to that right now, but I appreciate you thinking of me to help you with this project. With a smile, and feel good about saying that. I protect my peace like it's part of my purpose. And I do that because it is. My peace and how I do what I do is a part of my purpose. This is a part of my purpose. I'm so excited to have partnered with Dr. Pruden at this time in my life. It couldn't have come at a better time. It couldn't have been a better opportunity. It's part of my purpose. And I'm so grateful for it. And that's willpower. This one is my absolute favorite. Non-negotiables. You set the standard for yourself, or you suffer the consequences of not. So let's say that plainly. You set the standard for yourself, or you suffer from it if you do not. If you don't define what's non-negotiable in your life, and people decide for you, What do you get? You get a loss of time. Your values are compromised. Your rest is possibly depleted. Your voice is not heard. And your peace is shaken up. You must decide what your boundaries are, because life and people will definitely decide it for you. What is sacred must be structured. What is sacred must be structured. What do I mean by that? I watched earlier, I don't know if it was this week or last week, but Dr. Janelle Riddick talked about no being a complete sentence. And it is so. When we talk about the non-negotiables, we can get everything we need done in our time. If you go back and count the cost and see how much of your time is spent doing for others, and I'm not talking about helping others, that's different. I'm talking about doing projects that you were not assigned to, but you're helping a fellow employee or a fellow comrade do these things. Line it out. See how much of your time is spent on things that never were yours to carry or to help with. So the power seats insight for non-negotiables are not selfish. They're strategic. Here is where your strategy sets in. Setting up your schedule so that your personal life and your work life are not so much balanced, because what is balanced? Balance is set still, right? We want to be in motion all the time. We want to have momentum in everything that we do. So I don't believe in work life balance. I believe that they are equaled out as it relates to you, as it relates to your family dynamic, as it relates to your life and how you fit everything in. Work may be in the morning and in the evening. It may not balance out equally, but what does that look like for your family? How does that equate to balance in your life? But not balance that's just stagnant. I'm talking about balance that keeps you in momentum, keeps the momentum in your life going, keeps growth as a part of what you have to say and to do. So non-negotiables are not selfish, they're strategic. They guard, specifically women, but if there are men that's watching, they guard you from becoming a habitual breaker of your own boundaries that you're setting. So I set non-negotiables and then I break them, because normally I wouldn't do that, but I'm going to go ahead. How often do we do that? Normally, this is my time to hang up my jacket and go home for dinner, but I can give you one more hour. How often do we do that? Do we break our own non-negotiables? How often do we cross the line to the boundaries that we ourselves set for ourselves? What is one thing I will no longer tolerate in this next season? I want you to write that down. What is the one thing I will no longer tolerate in this next season? And then I want you to calculate and keep up with how many times you break that. How many times you cross that line or that boundary. I'm not hard to love. I'm not hard to lead. I'm not hard to respect. My standard simply reflects my self-worth, and I deliver every boundary, every non-negotiable in love. You don't have to be nasty about it. Deliver it in love. I will not be able to do that. But I can bring you a cup of coffee, or I can do something else, but I can't do that. So in closing, I want us to sit boldly, and I want us to lead unapologetically. Sister leaders, the power seat isn't something that you earn. It's something that you awaken inside of you. Confidence doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you available for the call. the call that's on your life. Resilience doesn't mean that you've never been broken. It means now you can get back up with revelation. Get back up with revelation. That's true resilience. All right. Optimism doesn't mean that you're naive. It simply means you refuse to let darkness dim your vision. Don't stop dreaming. Willpower isn't about striving, it's about strategy. Set those boundaries, structure your life. I'm not saying that you can't ever cross the line, but structure it in such a way that it's easy for you, it's simple for you. Even those of us with 15 hats, you can do it. You can schedule your life in such a way that it maximizes your potential and your peace. And then non-negotiables. Those are your covenants. That has to be a covenant to yourself. You're not waiting for permission. You're not waiting for the mic. You're not waiting for someone to call your name. Remember, you are the table. You are the seat. You are the crown. Say that with me. I am the table. I am the seat. I am the crown. I am the power seat. That's my time. It has been an absolute pleasure. Again, Dr. Pruden, I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This was some juicy stuff. As my coach, Dr. Sherwood, would say, juicy, juicy, juicy. I love it. So I do want to ask a few questions because I'm just that type of person when I hear juicy stuff. So
Yes,
thinking about sister leaders who may be in the midst of having already said yes to too many things. So they're already bogged down. So how would you recommend that they start prioritizing while they're still trying to work through those things that they've already said yes to where others are dependent on them? And so they already got a full cup. They're committed to that. What type of recommendations do you have for them so that they can prepare themselves or kind of offboard themselves towards that prioritizing, which you actually talked about with that balance?
absolutely. So again, prioritizing your life first. You have to not see it as being selfish when you put yourself, your family, your responsibilities first. So you have to look at what you have. Now there is my list of things, and then there are things that I've said yes to. Now I have to go through those things. What have I said yes to? What is the time frame on those things? And who have I said yes to? So now I may have to backtrack a little bit. Dr. Pruden, I know that you asked me to help you with this project. If we could just dim down my responsibility that you asked me to take care of, that would be great, and it'll help me along the way. My plate is super full right now, and I really want to help you. I really want to be a part of this. But as it relates to what you've asked me to do, is there any way that we can kind of pull some of that out and you take care of it, or delegate it to someone else? So the first thing I would do is just to see how I can kind of thin it out a little bit. Now, commitment is a commitment. If I said yes to you, I'm going to be there. And as most of us who sit in power seats would, I want to protect my name, but I also want to protect my peace and my sanity. And if I have too much, I'm overloading here and I'm overloading here. And if I get too overloaded here, I'm going to explode. So the thing I would say is prioritize your own list first and see what you can fit in comfortably, and don't take on anything else.
I love that. So the next question I have has to do with health because I don't know, it might be just me, but as I get older, I'm more health conscious. And I'm more health conscious on the decisions that I make and how it impacts me physically. And so recognizing that a lot of sister leaders who are responsible for a lot of roles, who take on a lot of things, even for themselves, it may not be for someone else. It may be they're taking on a lot of things. Can you talk about the importance or how you view the importance of physical health and being mindful of that and the choices that we make in terms of taking on too many responsibilities and the adverse impact, if there is an adverse impact on our physical health?
Absolutely. And that's an amazing question. I just turned 55 in May, and I have found parts of my body that I didn't even know I had. And I found them because they creak and they hurt and they crack when I get up. But I think that I worked a full-time job. I tried to get this business off the ground. I have two grandchildren, very small. And then I have three that are teenagers. And then we have five children together, and they all demand a little piece of us. The work demanded a little piece. And as an entrepreneur, you know what that entails. And then there's my church duties. So I get it. We do commit to a lot of different things because that's who we are. And as it relates to your health, if you're not 100% or even 95%, I'm not giving you all I can give you, or I'm not giving you my best. But more importantly, what am I doing to me? And what have I have left over to give to my family? So it is super important that we understand, even with all the things. I'm working with a young lady now, and it doesn't matter what time I log on, she's always up. She's up 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then late at night, early in the morning. So what do you think that does to your psyche, your mental? You think you're grinding, and you're grinding your body down quickly. And when we do that, our latter years are not as great as we would have them to be. So then now we can enjoy the spoils of what we've done. So I think it's super important that go back to that structure and that the prioritization of life, and ensure that the main thing be the main thing. And then you got to learn how to build a team. And that's what I'm learning. You have to learn how to build a team to help you to carry out the vision that God has given you, has gifted you with. And you keep your hands busy, but also don't overload yourself. Build your team and learn how to delegate.
Oh, I love that. And that's a lesson that I'm still walking through that. I'm not in the beginning stages, but I'm still walking through that. I'm doing much, much, much better in terms of delegation. Why don't you tell the sister leaders community like what you have going on, any upcoming books or anything? What you got going on? Where you going? Whose stage you're gonna hit? What you're writing on? Where you're speaking at? Where can they find you in terms of social media? How can they follow you? They want to know all about you so that they can continue this journey of prioritizing and balance.
Absolutely. I'm so super excited. My first book on paper will be released July 4th. I'm so super excited about it. It is She Carries Glory. And it's all about my journey and how I came to be a glory carrier, or recognize that I was a glory carrier for the Lord. So that comes out July 4th, and you can get it on Amazon. I do have another book that's to the publishers. It's called Unmuted, and that's my memoir of my life through domestic violence and things of that nature, and my walk up to current. I am. You can find me on social media at rozlanluck.com, at Rozlan Luck, and then my website is rozlanluck.com. Um, Listen, I'm super excited to be here. I can't say that enough. I will be speaking at the Sister Leaders Conference in October. Um,
Yay.
that is probably the only thing I have on the books right now. I am on the Comeback Champion. I'll be on that conference in September with Shay Brown. Um, I think that's about it for the year. Most of my stuff came early in the year, and I took a little time off because we just opened up our new church. I am the director on the board of Christian education there. So we have so much happening, and everything is so super exciting right now. So I look forward, reach out to me, and we can have a deeper conversation if you so desire. But it has definitely been my pleasure to be with you this evening.
That is awesome. And so as we close up, I will be remiss if I didn't mention about the Sister Leaders Conference that not only Rozlan will grace the stage, but we have a ton of other awesome speakers who are going to grace the stage on October 3rd and 4th at the Rivers Casino in Portsmouth, Virginia. And so if you have not already visited the website, it is sisterleaders with a S conference.com. Tickets will go on sale soon in the next couple of weeks, and we are excited about that. You can see some of our headliners are on the front of our front page now, as we are beginning to populate the other speakers as well. Our theme this year is her voice, her vision, her victory. You know, I'm all about girl power over here at Sister Leaders. And so I cannot wait to see how these speakers are going to incorporate that in their lane of brilliance when they hit the virtual and the live stage. And so just remember, we do have a pre-conference kickoff that will happen prior to the live conference, and it'll happen on the Thursday prior to the live conference for the virtual conference as well. And so again, I'm Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. Right now, you may look at me as the voice from above because you can't see my face, because you see the beautiful Rozlan Luck face there. And I want you to stay in contact with Rozlan and reach out to her and tell her how excited you are about her gracing the stage. And you will hear more from her because next she's going to be doing her podcast interview. And so I'm going to bid you a good evening, Sister Leaders. Until our next guest expert, bye.
Thank you.